Hello, everyone. This is Murphy Daly in Southern California. I am a director of IT project management and an AV veteran. You are joining us for the AV Life.
Hey, this is Nancy Blanchard. Happy 2023. We're into January, and I am from Williams AV, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
James here, writer for Higher Ed Digital Magazine, co-host of Ask the Programmer, and you are watching and listening to AV Life.
Wow. So we had Murphy very straight and to the, and then we had Nancy all really, and then James cut the middle. So I don't know which way to go, but this is Joe Way. I do stuff, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Well, and I'm as I always.
We need a shirt that says,
yeah, I just do stuff.
I do stuff.
I do stuff.
Well, and I'm your host, Tim Van Wert, and I am my usual energetic self, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life. But yeah, as Nancy said, welcome to 2023, everybody. We are back here on the AV Life, geared up and ready to go. We have a good group of our crew here tonight, so I'm glad. How was everybody's holiday? Everybody doing all right?
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yep.
I was visited by the ghost of sickness, Christmas present, and so I am still. My voice is still a bit repressed. Sorry to launch off our intros with a subdued voice, but that's where I am. I'm here though, and I'm super glad to be with my AV nerd people.
Well, we are very happy that you're back with us, Murphy. There's been something going along. I know we talked a little bit about it before we got started here, but yeah, I got something.
It's almost like a flashback of January 2020 when everybody got sick with the mysterious we didn't know what.
Oh, so are we gearing up for round two here?
I'm not going to say that, but
the mystery. Well, because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is our predictions for this upcoming year.
Okay.
But I have something to point out as that is concerned, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. I like to welcome you guys all back. So I'm glad at least everyone's now healthy for the most part, and we're back here to wreak the havoc that we always do on the AV Life. Joe, you're sitting there very intent, and it's actually kind of
creeping us out,
concerning me in a way. Is everything okay over there?
No, I'm good. I'm trying to hold back. I'm trying to be
okay.
This is now fourth in a row that I have not been a guest and I've been a crew member.
Right, and you've been doing so well. So this is why
I'm trying to take. I've got my predictions ready. I'm just waiting for you to ask, and I'm good.
Okay, all right, because there'll be a chance as we get a little bit closer, because there's always going to be the HETMA takeover episode be right before the conference that's coming up. Be right before our annual conference, which is coming up in February. So, and if you want more information on that, go to hetma.org. And
hetma.org that is now open to everybody. The back end community is fully
all
open.
Are welcome.
Oh my God!
Welcome.
Tell me, it's not rocking now. Is it not the best place in all of AV to be for conversation?
This is awesome. Now, I mean, so we've got James's Higher Ed AV Slack channel, and we got HETMA, and between the two of them, I can't keep up. It's just I got questions on one, and I got rants on one, and then I got all the HETMA stuff on another. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool.
Great conversations with everyone. It's rocking. We slow rolled it, but it came out pretty dang good, didn't it?
Yes, it did. So it's gonna be a great year. I feel it. We're there's an energy that just keeps building. So I'm very excited for that. Before we delve too deep into our predictions, I'm going to turn this over to Murphy, and we're going to do our PM minute. And also that way her voice we're still fresh here. So take it away, Murph.
Thank you. Right. I would like to say, as far as PM minutes go, PM minutes follow PM years. This is a manuscript, my buddies. See this? Both sides, table of contents
Yeah.
coming together. I got the last chapter done, and now I have to write the intro and the conclusion, and then get this thing ready to go to press. So look forward soon to the AV Project Manager Handbook coming to you.
Cool.
But today, I'm going to talk about the lessons learned, that easily forgotten part of the project. And the lessons learned are actually a great time for the team, the project manager, and everybody else on the team to learn what lessons the team didn't know the first part. Because when it comes to a whole team, every person on the AV project team has their area of expertise. And man, there's some great people on the team. There's so often just people that know exactly what they need to do. You go to them, they just their whole mind just does it. The programmers are great. The people who are doing the installs are great. People who know how to do the configuration for the projectors, great, fantastic. But I don't know how they see what they're dealing with, and they don't know how I see it. Each person has their own perspective and the thing they're really great at, but they might have complete blinders. Not even blinders, just complete blind spots where they don't know how this comes together. So that lessons learned is an opportunity for people to say, hey, if you had just told me this a week earlier, we could have saved 4 hours on the job. Oh, I didn't know you needed to know that. And the lessons learned gives a chance. Of course, everybody comes together and it's kind of miraculous how it comes and it all gets done. I love that about AV people. They get it done. But why not make it easier on ourselves? And that lessons learned, which is so often forgotten, is the chance for people to tell each other how we might make each other's job easier in ways that we didn't even know we could. So lessons
I would
learned.
say those.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Lessons learned. Hashtag.
Those are my
hashtag,
favorite. Yeah. That I was gonna say that's actually one of my favorite meetings. Now we usually do those at the end of the project. Sometimes yes, you do kind of have to have those in the middle though, like as you're going on. Because I learn because I love my application developer, but his brain works a very specific way. And you need to communicate things to him in a very specific way. And if it doesn't come back logically, he'll keep asking more questions and more questions. Like he wants to make sure everything is spelled out very specifically. So that was a learning curve for me, was that, as I guess you could say as an AV designer, and having that hat on is like, oh, well, this is the stuff I'm going to put together and this is the things I'm going to do. And he goes, well, what about this, and this? Like his brain is thinking about signal flow, and which I think about too, but so there goes my voice.
He's got a specific last mile.
Correct.
In his mind, how the signal's going to last couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he sees things very strategically and very orderly, and it's good because my ADHD brain doesn't see things like that. So it's something I need to continuously work on to make sure I'm communicating to him in a way that's efficient for him. So there's always an opportunity there that then to learn and to be able to. Oh, sorry. Joe,
are you going to break the news? Are we break? It's not breaking news by the time you don't post these after we record them. But
by the time this posts, but yeah, we're just finding out. So I heard about Jeff Beck earlier today, but I heard Lisa Marie Presley was rushed to the hospital, but I didn't realize we've now lost her as well.
What she did? She passed away?
That's what's coming across.
I had heard that she was sick.
I read that she had been rushed to the hospital and they were able to resuscitate her at her home.
Oh, that's what's coming across. I mean, I don't want to do
50
fake
Go to
news.
TMZ. TMZ is the one that has it all. She was
TMZ will
Rolling
have it all.
54.
Rolling Stone, yeah. Rolling Stone is
Oh.
showing her as past
Yep.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa Marie Presley. That's the first thing on TMZ. Yeah.
Mm.
Are
Mm.
we allowed to swear on here?
I
or no?
will say, well, I think we're allowed one, but
Can I do it in German? Holy Scheisse.
there you go. That's
There you
fine.
go.
Wow.
We excuse.
She
Sorry
just
for our
she
German
just went to
listeners.
the Golden Globes.
Yeah. I think I have
Mm.
I have that. That's, you just have to wait. As soon as you say it, I'll at the same time. That's our censor. I know Jeff Beck. Wow. This is
Starting
Mm.
off 2023, just as somebody said to me, you know, they couldn't believe like with how many suicides there's been and passings and things like that.
Mhm.
And wow.
So yeah,
I
sorry
don't know
to
why
put
I
a little
liked your
squash.
tweet, Nancy. Like that just feels bad to like a dead tweet, but you know. And I just came back from a funeral today too, so maybe I was bad luck or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry we put a little squash on the end of the PM minute there, but lesson learned that we probably shouldn't do that next time.
Well, you know what though? But see, here's the thing. It actually goes right along with what Murphy was saying. Because if you think about we're shocked, how many people, let's go right off what she was saying, impact our lives. I don't know Jeff Beck. I don't know Lisa Marie Presley.
Yeah,
but
I
they
don't
still
know
be-
Jeff Beck.
Well, I mean, I know who he is. He's the guitar player, like, but I'm saying is like, there are people who impact us that you don't deal with every day, but they still impact, which means we all impact other lives that we don't see every day, right? We may not know how we impact others. And that's important to recognize, and how not just handling projects, but how we handle ourselves in our daily lives, right? How we handle our relationships together, how we build our community. There are people being impacted who are watching, who are, we talked before we hit record about, just if you think like how many people are on the Twitter or in the AV space, but there are a lot who aren't as active. We talk about the outer circle, the inner circle, and even if you're kind of part of the quote unquote Twitter inner circle, the fact is we impact so much. We might kind of collaborate only with one another, but how many lost opportunities are there because people are looking in? They want our assistance. They want our mentorship. They want our knowledge. They want our access, right? They want to build their careers. Yet often, if we just keep this closed circle, we don't recognize how we impact others and how we could actually impact others more by being able to step outside of that circle, and kind of like burst the bubble. Hashtag at burst the bubble, right?
Burst the bubble. Well, and I will say, yeah. So, unfortunately, we lost one of our network installers right before Christmas, over at Rutgers. I never got all the details as to what happened, but he was roughly about my age, and you see the impact, even though he may have not known it, but the ripple effect of his passing like went through all of us in IT, because he was one of those like outer circle kind of guys. Like you knew him, like we all knew Joe, like we knew Joe, and he'd come around and do whatever wire pulls and terminations and things like that we needed. And I mean, I don't know if he ever knew how much he meant to the teams of what he was, because as a very genuine individual himself. So, if you find yourself that you think you're on one of those outside circles and that you don't matter, you do. So like, we need you, you're always needed. There's, we all want to communicate. We want you to be involved. So it's, that's, so the circles are, I keep going back to those old, what was it? Sprint MCI commercials. You got circles. It's like we're more like a web, I think. Like, it's like we're all branched out into each other. So you're not really in a circle. We're all connected in some way. So, use those branches and find us. All right, I'm rambling now.
Yeah,
So
and that's something that I hope to have more of. You know, I will tell you honestly, while I was sick, my voice, I was coughing like crazy, right? And I realized if I didn't speak, I didn't cough as much and it was less painful. I think I actually, it was coughing such that I like was bruising my ribs and I wasn't feeling good. So I'm like, okay, don't speak.
Hmm.
So I was away from everybody during the holiday season. I mean, I was with my family, but you know, I was like, ugh. And I was like, I want to be around people. I felt like I was on the moon. Like, don't speak.
See, what's
But
interesting is like you said that when you speak, it hurt more. Like my wife tells me when I speak, it hurts her.
there you go. Well, I want more. I'm like, I have got to connect to everybody. And I finished doing my Christmas cards, which is part of what I do to connect to the people in my life. But I'm like, I made like a list of everybody I could possibly think of just to say hello to. I was like texting people because my voice wasn't working. I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm a human. Are you human? I could use contact. Text me back. But that's to say, like, even the outer circle, these people are important in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth, to bring it back to what you said, Tim, let's do the lessons learned and learn about each other and what each other needs even before the project ends.
Yeah. And that's, you know, it's funny. That's one of my resolutions this year is to like really start reaching out to people that I've done a really bad job of communicating with people. So that's one of my resolutions is to, you know, just to check in because that's sometimes what it takes. So, oh, and Joe's sort of putting on a different hat. What are we
I'm
putting
just
a hat
putting on a
on
hat.
for?
This is the guys from Pace.
Oh, there's that AV
Yeah,
bald guys.
this is the AV bald guys putting it on. There we go. Wearing
Yeah,
a
we
hat.
are
Well, I don't know.
we are fans of the AV ball guys here on the AV Life. So we
It's bald AV guys.
bald AV guys. Sorry, I screwed that up. My brain is not quite there. So
prediction 1, there will be more lessons learned this year.
yes, there will be more. Yes, definitely. Oh, but wait a minute. Before we go into prediction, I actually have to roll back into, I think this might have been January of 2021. And this was an episode of Higher Ed AV that I had jumped on with Joe. And Joe asked me when I thought things were going to get back to normal. And I said January of 2023. I think I was right. I don't get to say this very often, but I think I was right because now we are at the point, our conferences are back, travel is back. We
Ooh.
are very limited on any mask wearing at this point. I mean, except for maybe doctors' offices. I think we have all now come to a point where if mask mandates are brought back, there is a very large resistance now from people, even those of us that were very pro mask wearing. Like I'm at the point now, it's like, I don't want to turn back. Like, I don't want to go back.
Well, there's
So
rumors.
I think
rumors that those of us coming back from ISC are going to have to do special testing and stuff to get back in.
Well,
I know.
Well, we'll have to see. So as of right now, though, I'm stating that I'm right
Well,
still.
you are more right than definitely pretty much anybody else because you were the Grim Reaper 2 years ago.
I was well, yeah, because I still stand by Jersey and the metropolitan area. Hang on.
No, hanging on. Here's the thing. I did 50. I know. See, I took over your show. See, but I did 53 conferences last year. So you can't say they're just coming back or I couldn't have done 53. Just saying. That's
okay. I will concede, but I will say as a nation, we are generally back to normal at this point. New Jersey, along with is and that's where when I made that comment in 2021, New Jersey was one of the strictest states in the country for doing anything. So where we are now is more normal than, I can't compare New Jersey to Florida or New Jersey to Texas because
Mhm.
those states were relatively open, but I could say in a generalization based on my experience in New Jersey that things are back to normal. So, all right, I'm right to an extent.
No, I think you're right, because I was also the outlier too, but you're right. I think
Well, and you had
there's
a
general acceptance that we're through it.
right. And I think California has their own set of what's the
Crazy.
difficulties in, because you are the largest state.
but-
And
But you're going to lead into my first prediction.
okay, let's
Ready
go.
for
I'm all right with that.
Prediction.
Let's hear it.
Bring this back to predictions. We are still not through sicknesses, right? I mean, ISE is being held regardless of COVID. Is held every year in the middle, outside of last year where they moved it, of flu season. So people are and everyone gets sick going to conferences anyway, just from the conference air and all that. My prediction is it won't take more than 3 days post ISE before you see Twitter say hashtag ISE super spreader.
Okay.
Regardless. Now, I'm not telling you it is. I'm just telling you that that's what's going to start to happen, is that people are going to blame illnesses on ISE should have done XYZ. They should have done this and all. You see it after Infocom. You see it after.
I was just about to say.
One. So all I'm going to tell you is it's going to get the super spreader when it's really just the fact that people get sick after being at a conference around 100,000 people for a week anyway, and all of that. That's all I'm going to say. That's my prediction.
And to go even further on that, Joe, is CES, I started off with a mask on the plane, but after that, it was like, you know what, I can't stand the masks. And it was being in an elevator and you're trying to hold your breath, but nobody cared. It was like sardine packed. It was just, and anywhere that you went, when I got home on Saturday, all of a sudden I started sneezing and I thought, wow, that's really weird. I don't do that. I took COVID test negative. And I think that we're always going to live with this paranoia that all of a sudden, if you start feeling a little weird, it's like, oh, I wonder if I got it. But
remember pre-COVID, we all got sick the week after Infocom and ISE every year. It happens. It happens every single time. And it's both the fake air that comes through, plus just seeing people, right? And being around that, and the over.
Well, and you're wearing yourself out because more than likely you're not sleeping well because you're either staying out late with the doing vendor management or getting up early to get to the conference floor, and you're
trekking 5 miles on the conference floor, so you're already weak and tired. Your back's hurting, so it happened pre-COVID, but now we're going to keep blaming. That's my prediction. My prediction is where you're going to see a contingent online that will blame the conference for anyone getting sick, forgetting that we all got sick before.
And you know what? There were a lot of people, if you agree, Joe, that were wearing masks at the trade show.
Yeah, surprisingly more than I thought.
Yeah.
Which of course was all by choice, right? Because you're in Vegas, it's all, that was solely by choice. But yeah, you're right. It was more than I thought.
They're so comfortable. Everyone will wear them in the future.
And now they're stylish. And now they're stylish.
That I bought. So if anybody wants some, please let me know.
That was a quote from my favorite movie, in case anyone missed it. Princess Bride.
There's just
yeah.
Now I have his voice in my head saying that line.
Yeah.
So all right. I like that.
Tech predictions.
So I have one. I mean, and maybe it's not like world ending tech, but I feel like and I know it's already started in many universities, but I feel like this is going to be the year that you're going to hear everybody going AV over IP in some way, whether it's if Dante gets their piece together and gets that out there, or if it's by one, if it's a NVX from Crestron or, Extron solution, everybody is this is by the end of this year, that is going to be the 100% norm across the board, I feel like. And I know a lot of us are already going in that direction, but I think after this next cycle, supply chain providing, you'll hear about more and more that most universities are going to be down that road.
I think that was low hanging fruit. That's low hanging fruit there.
I'm not trying to like reinvent the wheel here, so
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think if you're not, I mean, is anyone even making anything that isn't AV over IP now?
well, no, there's still companies that are making like 8x8 switchers and stuff like that, but no one's making, or none of the major players are making big, 16x16s anymore or anything like that. Like
Yeah,
that's
but even an 8866, it's still, you're still using probably a category cable from encoder to decoder. There
Well,
probably
yeah, I
not
mean,
as many like HDMI as the output. There might be, but who's buying those things?
Okay.
Or maybe they are. I don't know.
Okay.
Hmm.
I think that what with this, what is it? Chat GT AI that's coming up. that we
oh,
bought.
AI,
GPT,
okay.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. AI. Yes. But that's just writing words. Okay. I think that we need to have auto tune go up, and we need to have like voice filters to
Are you
put
talking
as
like
filter.
deep faking
Yes.
voices?
Yes. I think we all need to have like, opera singer voice filters. We need to have we need to have filters come in with AI where we actually all harmonize together. I think that could be great. That could be great. We have like the barbershop filter.
Yeah,
And when it's
the
when
AV
it's
Life
one,
band.
yes. So these AIs are going to come in, take our voices. Didn't you say that the fancy Sennheiser thing had a voice phase, Joe?
Yes,
Okay,
the
it's
ceiling,
already
the Ceiling
halfway
Connect
there, right?
2
Mhm.
already, it already changes the frequency, which is how you can do voice lift
Yep.
with the same
Without
mic.
having that nasty feedback. Right.
Mhm.
So I think this is ready to happen. We're gonna have filters, and there'll be like the you will take my suggestion filter.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Okay. I was going Hitler, but I thought maybe that's
Oh.
too dark. But Vader is better. I like Vader. Vader's much better. The Vader filter where everyone does what is said. This is good. Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna force choke every last one of you.
Yes.
Arr.
Yes. So this meeting doesn't gonna run long. I'm going to use the force filter. You have spoken for the last time. Stop asking.
Well,
questions at the last minute.
I will say that that chatbot AI is actually scarily good. It's
It's ridiculous.
and I heard
It's
somebody say,
horrifying.
But
I don't know if I
okay,
saw
all
it on
right.
Twitter. Oh, go ahead.
No,
You know what
you
we're talking
can
about,
say
Joe?
your bit, but I do have an opinion on this.
I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say
would
I
not
heard
have thought it any other way.
I don't know if it was on Twitter or I don't remember where I saw it, but that there's a chance that AI is going to be sentient by 2050. So I hope to God not, but
Probably. Well, no.
we'll see.
Here's the thing. Everyone's getting all like you said that it's scarily good. Well, duh. That's the whole point of it. is
Well,
to
yeah,
be
I'm
good,
not
right. I mean, like the
yeah.
fact is, when you ask Siri to play you a song, you expect Siri to understand what you're saying, do the command, and play you the song. What
Mhm.
it's doing is just showing you a text version of what it's always done. The fact is, AI has been part of our life for a decade now. You're just seeing it in some app form that is getting the news. But every time you make a voice command to anything, I mean, if you look at, what's it called? I'm just lost the name of it, but there have been AIs out there that have done this so well already, right? And it's just happens to be hitting mainstream, and people are shocked because now it's available to everybody rather than the fact that it has actually existed. And this is one of the takeaways, and I said this in my latest article that I released today at Hired AV about some takeaways from CES, was that AI was not treated as something spectacular. It was treated as this, of course it has AI. Well, why would it not have AI? I can't put something else that doesn't have AI, right? It was treated as, yeah, if you're excited about it today, then you're living 3 years in the past today, because we're already moving past that, right?
No.
And so I think that's what we have to recognize, the smart technology. And the thing is, we already know as an AV industry, we already live in a world that's behind the times. We are not bleeding edge. We do not lead technology. We don't come out with anything that's, cutting edge. We follow, and we follow way late. And then we have refresh cycles that put us 7 or 8 years behind even that, right? And so we shouldn't be as shocked, because the fact is it's been there and you rely on it. You rely on the fact that when you search something in one search engine, that the next thing that's going to happen, and we mock it when you open Facebook, is that it's there, right? But the fact is, if it stopped, you'd think something was weird with the world. We want the world to actually understand that our needs at every moment, right? It's just now available to everybody. That's the change. In text form.
In text form, yeah. Well, and then we already had an AV Life episode about AI art, so that's a whole nother realm of, does that qualify as art and things like that. So you have to go back and find that episode.
I think that there will be a backlash as well. Now, I just said this is going to be the thing, and we're all going to hyper modify ourselves with AI like we're being fancy. But I do think in art, there is an artistic output, including writing. As a writer, there is going to be a backlash for authenticity and human creation. I do think there's going to be, some people are just going to go.
But will the human creation mean that rather than being the artist, you become the code manipulator to make the AI do something different, and that becomes art? No,
there will be that, and I respect that, because as I said in the beginning, we are nerds, and I respect that. But the actual manipulation of information by the human, and it's not that there's tools, but what the Chat GI or whatever it was, Chat GT does.
GPT, yeah.
Okay. Chat, anyway, whatever.
Go to the MIT version. It's actually better than the one that's available to the public.
Well, I should hope so, but it doesn't do the checks that a human can do. Not that a human is always accurate, but it doesn't do those things that people can do. So I think there's going to be a backlash for non-computerishness. And remember, good Lord. Okay, let's go back.
I disagree.
Let's go back in time to.
I disagree. You take everyone's cell phone away right now. You shut down the internet, and people would freak out and not know how to live.
Let's go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Remember the 90s?
And we did.
Remember, listen to me. I'm not done with that. I'm finishing a sentence. Let's go back to the 90s and think about what happened. There was this whole thing called Unplugged, right? So
the whole MTV,
right?
MTV,
the MTV Unplugged thing, and they're like, oh, let's not have everything be electric. And it wasn't even that Unplugged wasn't electric. It was, but there was this let's try to get to some authenticity. Let's try to get to some artistry. And I think there's going to be something similar to that across more than just music, as a response to this AI over computerishness. So I guess that's my real prediction. I mean, I was goofing off about having
with what generation though, because I have come to the conclusion and the acceptance that I can't keep saying, well, back in my day, we did this and this. And, when I was your age, because it is a different age. And, video games and all of the social media and things like that, that wasn't part of us, but that's there. And, parents in the 50s would say, oh, we didn't do that either. Oh, we didn't dance. And you wore a dress and blah, blah, blah. So
Well,
I don't know. I don't.
I personally, after having my weird alternate reality sickness, I was sitting there going, I should be more of a parent and try not to leave my daughter, because it was both me and my husband that got sick, and my daughter, who is going to be 14 soon. I'm like, we should tell her not to be on her iPad all the time. I'm like, what else are we going to give her? And I thought, okay, everything I tell her, I need to listen to. So I've been like, put it down. Hey, what are you thinking about? Hey, tell me what book you're reading. She does do a good job of reading books. Tell me about the book that you're reading, and just have a conversation, and stop being only about the content. I'm like, no, stop. And it turns out she wasn't as annoyed by that as I thought she might be.
Wait, all right. Let me make an argument though.
Okay.
What'd you tell her to do instead? Read a book. Is not about the content. It's just a different medium.
It is about the content, and yes, it is a different medium. It is a different way of engaging with the content, because I engage with audio media, I engage with visual media, and it's different. And how that affects your brain. I think about it a lot. And so I actually started reading a physical book like that was 100 years old. And because I have to do it that way, I have to sit down and just pay attention and not walk around while I'm doing other things. It's been a different experience, and I've been enjoying it differently. So I mean, these are different ways that use our brain, and it is different. So I'm like, okay, if I want to go back and grow wheat and pound it into flour by reading a physical book, that's true. And I'm putting this down and being, hey, we went to this thing yesterday. What did you think of that? And talking rather than doing that. Like, because also being aware that I wanted to connect to people, to bring it back, call back to the earlier thing, like, oh, I need to connect to people and remember, well, that's on me. If I'm going to connect with people, I need to disconnect from the other things that I'm connecting to instead. And I think that as we continue back to how many conferences did you go to, Joe? 53?
53.
There you go. As more people do that thing that they love and get back into it and stop being afraid and stop wearing masks and stop doing all the shuddering and fear in the basement, I would hope that people would go, oh yeah, I want to connect with people in the non-electronic way.
Mhm.
So is it the issue that you have with electronics? Is that it? Versus doing things manually?
Clearly I do love electronics. It's getting kind of addicted to it. Like, oh, I gotta have something in my ears. I gotta have something. I gotta, always have something plugged into my brain about something, because I can be that way for sure.
Okay, so yeah, it's individual. I mean, I used to buy the newspaper. I mean, even people used to laugh at me for that, but I liked it because it was physical. I could read it. Now I'm on my phone because I'm reading news. I have learned so much from a variety of different topics and areas because we have access to so much more media in that way.
Yep.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing all in the same, because that leaves a lot more media outlets for misinformation and being able to decipher. Well, it's a lost art about being able to decipher.
You could use AI to solve that. You could use AI to say,
who watches The Watchmen? Who watches that? The AI is going to manipulate the stuff so that we don't get manipulated, but who's manipulating that?
But the fact is, if you go back to all this, so to kind of pull it to a prediction, I'm going to predict, I think you're wrong, But I only think it because I think it's just too late. Like, we are in a society that, we all were alive to remember when we were, sin electronics, right? Without it all. But the fact is, as Nancy said, the next generation doesn't understand that. They cannot look through two lenses, right? And the truth is, if you go to things like CES, it's only becoming more integrated. It's becoming so more integrated to the point where you don't notice it, where we see it through the lens of a phone. The things coming out are so ingrained into to your clothing, to your normal glasses, not big old goggles, but your normal glasses, to the screens that you're in. It's only becoming more and becoming more to the point you don't even notice it. To the point where you could say, I want to turn it off, but you actually couldn't turn it off if you tried, because it's ingrained into the identity of being a human. And that's the direction this is going. I mean, but
Well,
it's true. Like, we don't have to like it, but it's true.
No, yeah, you're right, Joe. And I feel like this is a great conversation. James has been sitting very quietly over there in his car. I think he's taking in this entire thing. James, are you doing okay over there?
Yeah, I'm doing.
You got anything?
One, I do have bad connection, so I keep dropping.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm taking it all in.
All right. Anything to
do-
throw? I'm giving you a chance to not get cut off, hopefully by Joe. So that's why I'm.
I'm going to reserve my opinion because I am working on things that will speak about what my opinions are, but I want to say Murphy and Joe are both right, but both wrong. And this is my prediction. I know people are going to come at me, so come at me. AV is dying as we know it.
Hence
I
your
said
your latest article.
Yes.
So are you saying, are we going back to
All right,
not that AV as a service must die, but are you saying that AV as we know it
No,
must
what
die?
he said, AV as we know it is dying. But let me add on to that. That's a good thing.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not a good thing. Just that's my prediction.
Thing. It sounds like a negative statement, but it's actually a good thing.
And it goes back to what Joe was mentioning earlier of how we as an AV industry are late to the game. And the killing of AV as we know it is going to change that. And we're no longer going to be late to the game.
I will agree with that. I think that we are at a point where there is a change. There's a societal change. There's a humanity change, and that's just it. A little REM there, huh?
Yeah, it's the end of AV as we know it.
Yeah. All right. But what about any technology? So I'm going to say my prediction. I've said this before. My prediction for this next year is that this is the swing back year. This is not the year that this is the year we finally see how far did the pendulum swing back in our hybrid world, our work from home world, because we swung so far in every vertical, and in corporate and in higher ed, and entertainment, everything being there has to be a virtual component of everything. You can do classes online. Every job can be a work from home. If you saw, what is it? Disney just said 4 days a week back in the office, right?
Yep.
And okay, that's everybody, including accountants. Okay, that have zero reason to come back. And Disney, you'd think, would be one who would say, okay, whatever, forever. So this year, my true prediction, and this is a technology prediction and a how we work in the technology world prediction, is this is our swing back year. This is where we figure out where the pendulum actually lands. Because everyone thinks about, the pendulum swung so far. The pendulum swimming back doesn't mean we go back to normal. There's some normal would be having to go all the way back to the other peak, right? Well, where's the middle? Where's the drop center when it actually falls? And I think that's 2023, where we figure out what that is, where salaries start, an interesting thing is, if you even look at salaries, there was a huge spike in AV salaries, right? There was even a latest article about it too, but you also realize that when you have companies, IT companies that are firing 20,000 employees, 20% of their employees through you know what that does? That saturates the market. And then you start getting people who will take jobs for any amount. So these peaks that you saw are going to quickly drop. We're going to swing back the other way to the jump in our salaries are now going to see that because we have a saturated IT market, right? And as we became IT, that's going to start to fall. We're already seeing it like at USC, where we're getting people asking for more money. And you go, well, guess what? You can see a lot of IT jobs now that we're in January 1st. If you look at the actual market range, the true market rate has actually dropped in a lot of positions because of an oversaturation. Now, that's usually at the lower end, not the management level. So get yourself to management. But still, that changes things, right? And that's going to be my prediction for this year. We will know where our quote unquote, take a drink because I'm going to say the word new normal is, right? This is when we figure that out.
I agree. I agree with that, Joe. I think that's because a lot of universities are also experimenting with pilot programs for this hybrid, work from home, work in the office kind of program as well. So that's taking place. Actually, Rutgers is in the middle of doing that right now. That's a pilot that's supposed to conclude at the end of this fiscal year. So we still have another 6 months of that. So we're going to see where that lands us. And that was in response to a lot of the IT personnel taking jobs at other places because they were offering full remote as an option. So because of reasoning like, well, yeah, I'm a network admin. If I'm just staring at a terminal all day, why do I need to be on campus to do that when I could do everything from the comfort of my own home? So I get it. And I think this is where we find out where we're going to land.
Yep.
So
100%.
Well, that's any other predictions before we no. Okay.
That one was just so good.
I think that's a good prediction there, Joe. I'm very interested to find out where we swing back to at the end of this year. I think at that point we'll be like you were saying, like people will know what works.
I keep thinking of it not as a swing back to, the normal, but as like different train tracks that I jumped a train track and I'm in an alternate universe. Is it going to swing back into some train track that was closer to the other universe?
As I say, is this my Doc Brown explanation where I'm doing the extra line underneath the timeline?
Kind of, yeah. So I'm like,
going back to the pendulum that Joe was talking about. We all know physics and pendulums. They never can go back to the height they started at.
Mm-hmm. That was my
point. Physics won't.
And that was
Why?
And that's and as Joe said, the full swing back is the return to where we were.
And everyone's saying March, that, it can't happen.
Yeah.
March of 2020, like March 1st, 2020. Let's just say that was probably the last time that we were at some normal capacity. We're never going back there. Like that's gone.
And I'll give you you want an actual technology prediction?
Sure.
This year, 2023, which means you'll see it at ISE 2024, I guess, if you're going to give me a whole year for it to happen. Everything is a node. That's going to be my thing. Everything is a node. You're going to see laptops be, encoders. You're going to see laptops be decoders. You're going to see everything be able to work into any ecosystem. Your cell phone, not just a BYOD, but everything is a node. A true integration of our systems.
Well, that's I will say Crestron was showing that at Infocom.
but I think it
So
becomes a
it's-
reality in general, not just off
Mhm.
one ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I think, I want to go super bold. We're going to wise up. No. All right. We'll save this one for 2024. We're going to wise up and have full interoperability, or else because we're going
Ooh.
to finally realize that we're going to get left behind if we don't.
I think, well, I agree with that, because actually I had a training with LeGrand, and they were already kind of saying that's where we need to go. And I 100% agree with that. I think there needs to be, that's the only way that everyone succeeds in this is interoperability.
Yep.
Is that
and
where you're
a
saying
sta-
one standard?
One
One
standard.
standard.
Everybody can work together. There's no more proprietary. That
Yep.
would be nice.
And I
Yep.
will say, I've been in meetings lately with other departments that are non-IT people, and they hear the word proprietary and they get worried. The
Mhm.
word proprietary worries people, because if it's for wireless casting, if it's for just for data streams or whatever it might be, you put, oh, this is a proprietary thing, we know it works. It's like, well, that's
because the
and then people,
manufacturers were trying to keep a grip on their technology, and I mean, where we are today, everybody shares everything, and that's the way it should
Mhm.
be. It shouldn't matter what you're using, but that it should all work together. So
Yep.
I'm all up for that.
Yep.
I lived in the proprietary age, and oh my gosh, that was so painful.
Well,
for
and,
the
you
greater,
know, what's-
the greater good.
What's interesting, like even if you go to CES and it was the you go to the Z-Wave Alliance, and right next to Z-Wave was Ring, right?
Yeah.
And
I know
Z-Wave
exactly.
is built on their idea that everything is interoperable, right? They have a technology that other manufacturers put in to make it's kind of, let's call it the Dante of smart homes, right? But then you walk over to Ring, which is what? A proprietary company. What did they have on one wall? Works with, and they had all their competitors. We will work with this, and we will work with this because we have adopted the Z-Wave. Literally in their own booth, they were showing their own competitors.
Mhm.
That was pretty impressive, because
Yeah.
you never see that.
Yep.
So there we go.
All right. Well, we got our 2023 and into 2024 predictions. So hey, if you agree with us, if you don't agree with us, let's see the comments, like whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the website, whether it's on Twitter, let us know. We'll be back to discuss more. Thank you to the crew as always. And Joe, you didn't take over too much today. So
I shushed
I
you
appreciate that.
once. I shushed
You
you.
shushed me, and then I shushed back, and then you shushed me again, and I just was like, okay, I'll let it go.
But I
And
had a
I
good
know.
point.
predict,
No, you did. You did.
I predict that will happen again.
Oh, yes.
Happy New
Oh,
Year,
yeah.
More low-hanging
everybody.
fruit.
Well, so I hope everyone does well. Thanks for listening, and until our next adventure.